All right, it's been a while since we had an update on the Can You Dig It process, but here we are, and we're actually getting pretty close. You can see we've got sheetrock up and a lot of spackle and taping done. We've done some finish work in the back here, and back over in this side here where the tools all reside. We got finally got our lift pump up, and vented up and tied into the vent stack and the drain there, so plumbing's up and running, and sheetrock on the walls and everything else. So let's go through some of the things that we've done here. So here's an example, and this is the same as we've done in the other rooms in the two offices there. We've got the pine rough sawn across with push up, like kind of faux drop ceiling there, and you can see how this works out. I have this one out so we can slide the tiles over, because it's not enough space to be able to push them and remove the tiles down, but they do have enough space to kind of pass over and do like a bypass door. You can see our heating duct there, and back in the back here you can see it like right back there and across. That's our water line that we reran all around, and I'll show you why that's important in a minute. We have that going across. I got to frame the rest of this in. You can see I had to disassemble part of our spiral stairs, because in order to get back here to do the spackle and the taping, it's obviously going to be a lot easier to move that, so took that out. We've got electrical run properly, GFI down here. That's the first outlet in the whole run for the basement, so that takes care of everything else. And we did drop lighting. Those are LED lights. So we went and did that there up in this push, and you'll see what we did was I did a regular ceiling in the middle because it's easier, quicker to do, and is better suited for the lighting and the residential fire sprinkler, muy importante, in the basement here as far as I'm concerned. But on the outside you'll see that we do our electrical in the spaces near the ends, and that's why there's opening, and this side over here is going to be the same as over here with this fake drop ceiling, so that way I have access if we need to run stuff through the joist spaces in the future for future expansion. So that way it'll be easy to fish something from this side to this side, and then as we go across to get from here all the way across to the other side. And then on this side you'll see that we got a couple different things going on. You see we've got the other cold water line, which actually runs a loop around our hot water, and our natural gas line, which is flash shield CSST, which we replaced the old iron pipe that was here and did that. All of our copper pipes are being replaced with Uponor PEX. I love that stuff. It's great. It saved me a ton of time. You'll see that we have a T here which comes across and actually hits our residential fire sprinkler and goes all the way across to the other end. And you'll see the same thing over here where you can see my tie-ins for natural gas, and here's my other T which goes across, hits the residential fire sprinkler, goes across and continues across. You see it right there on the wall, and it'll hit this residential fire sprinkler here and goes all the way across to that loop. So all of our residential fire sprinklers are inside of a loop. So there's actually a loop around the entire outside of the house, and then for every sprinkler run it comes across and connects on both ends. So if one goes off, you have water feed from both sides, so better flow, better effectiveness of the fire sprinkler system. We've got a hook up here for our TV, which is going to go up here. Notice the GFI that actually runs and takes care of this whole wall for the ground fault purpose of it. Network box here. There's one underneath the table here. You can't see it. So that way we can run our networking cable back and forth. So we have internet and low voltage to be able to go from the bottom to the top. So if we want to put a stereo or gaming system, it's going to be a kids area, so I'm sure there'll be one down there, so we don't have to have any cables outside the wall. And that's pretty much it. The plan is to get the rest of this or this section here from the toolbox across all the way over to the door and get that done, painted, get the molding up and get everything done, and then I can transfer all this material to the finish section, and then I can finish off this area, get this all tape spackled and painted, and then we'll be done. I'm hoping only another couple of weeks to get everything finished up. You notice up here too, when we did it, we can see our low voltage run. So these are all our network cables, fire alarm cable up there with everything else. So everything's accessible, and that was kind of the point. We got our, we bought our flooring already, so it's already here because we had it on sale at Costco, and we decided that it was a good time to buy it, so we bought it before we needed it. But I've got a couple hundred square feet of it all stacked up, ready to go. This River Edge oak, which is the same one that I used, if you see it here, in both offices when we did it. So that'll be ready to go. I may have to put down some self-leveling concrete. I have to kind of gauge that when it's time to put the flooring down, on whether or not that's something I'm going to have to do to make that work or not. I didn't have to do it in any of the offices, but this is a little bigger area that needs to be covered. So that's what's going to happen here. Oh, in the back here, if you look here, on the backing of these bench shelves here, we're going to have a little bit of molding across that to cover it and neaten it up. You see the back, we've got this sand apply. It's basically just plywood that's come together and sanded. It's cheaper than regular finished grade plywood. This is only 3/8 thick, so it's good, but it's in panels. I took the 4-foot panels, and if you notice on the bottom, if you look kind of close, I don't know if it's zooming. Yeah, you see those 2 screws. That's basically all that's holding that in on the bottom, and it's kind of just pushed in underneath the molding on the top. The same thing over here, you can see the screw right there. So if I need to get behind this wall and get to what's behind it, so like things over here, you can see on this side, it's going to be the same kind of thing. You can see we have our sewer line here, which that'll eventually go to the new kitchen on the other side of the house. And heating duct up here. There's some wiring in the water pipes behind there. So that'll all be accessible because the wood will go on this. The molding will go against it on the top. And then if I ever need to do it, all I got to do is just pull out the 2 screws on the bottom. You know, one here, one there, and there's probably another one behind the wood there you can't see. And then I can just pull it out from the bottom and it'll slide right out, so I'll have access to it. It's a more, you know, temporary, not temporary, but a permanent solution that allows good access behind there. Because that's the one thing I was kind of wanted to make sure that I had down here was access to the stuff in the walls for future work, because I don't want to have to tear up the ceiling in order to get it. So that's where we're at. Behind here is the our heating duct. We used to have like an octopus, so this was the bottom of the heating duct. It's a downdraft heating HVAC unit, so it would come down to here, and this box originally was just like an octopus, so you had 4-inch ducts going out to all of the different heat registers on the first floor. So it would go out and just kind of go across the basement this way to that one, you know, shortest point between 2 points. It'd go from here all the way over to that one over there. And we eventually closed that, took them all off, did this, put a large rectangular duct on both sides. And then you see we came off of it, off the top, like here. It comes off the top of that 4-inch collar, comes across through the ducts, and then goes up out to where it needs to, which is actually above the ceiling, like right there. And you can see the size of the duct that we used for that there. You can see one of the takeoffs on the side because it didn't make sense to go at the top, which is you know, covered with some duct sealant on that to kind of minimize drafts and leakage, and that's how that goes off. But that's what's behind this section right here, and then behind this here as you go down is our main support beam for the house. Behind this sheetrock right here is a large column, which is there, and behind that it's like 15 inches deep. It's a pretty sizable beam that supports the rest of the house. Comments if you have them, likes if you like it, anything you'd like to see changed or think we did without looking forward, or something else that we should do, I'd love to hear it. Have a great day and see you next time.